podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, April 18th, 2021. This is episode 1789. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door free, go to mintmobile.com/techguy. And by CashFly. Give your users the seamless online experience they want. Power your site or app with CashFly's CDN and be 30% faster than the competition. Learn more at twit.cashfly.com. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, smart vacuums, smart refrigerators, and Professor Laura's favorite, smart coffee machines. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. Do you have a smart coffee machine, Professor Laura? Our musical director is bidding on one. I have one that's very smart. It's from Breville. It's called the Oracle. That's how smart it is. It could tell your future. But it's got a LCD screen. It's got 2 chips in it. It's got temperature sensing chips and very accurate sensors in there, and microprocessor controlled brewing. It doesn't make a better cup of coffee, I'll be honest with you, than my $29 AeroPress, but it's fun. That's kind of the way it is in technology, isn't it? That's what we talk about. Stuff that doesn't make a better cup of coffee, but is part of our lives these days. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number. 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still call, use Skype or something, and it'll be free, but you can't just use the phone. International regulations prohibit it. I don't know what it is. Probably we're just too cheap to buy an international 800 number. That would be my guess. We got the U.S. and Canada. What do you want? What do you want for nothing? There's also a website that's also free. Nothing, no charge, and that's available worldwide. That's techguylabs.com, and I mentioned that because, you hear something on the show, you don't want to have to write it down. You're busy. You got a busy life. I understand that. I respect that. I honor that, and so we put it. We've got James DeRuvo writing everything down, our scribe, and he puts it up there at techguylabs.com. So you don't have to, and it's all there. There's no sign up. It's free. techguylabs.com. Well, let's see. Tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, Apple's going to do its spring-loaded event. Yes, the invitations went out. There was some question in my mind, to be honest, if there would be an April event. They eschewed the March event that we all thought they would have. We thought maybe they'd eschew. That's such a silly word. Eschew the April event, but no, they are not eschewing. So Tuesday, what will they announce? Well, they don't say ahead of time. They don't announce their announcements. That would be a pre-announcement. They wouldn't do that. So we don't know. But rumors are flying. Pretty sure that they'll announce a new iPad Pro. Possibly a new iPad Mini. Absolutely sure they'll announce iOS and iPadOS 14.5. Now, here's what they may announce. Rumors are strong. They will announce finally their location tracking, Bluetooth location trackers, the AirTags. Not a new category. Tracker, Tile, and others do that. But Apple does have an interesting capability built into its phone, its watches, and some other devices. It's called ultra-wideband, UWB, and the ultra-wideband chips in these devices can do location. The game you played with the kids, hot, cold, cold, warm, 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 hot, hot, hot. where they're trying to find something, as they're searching. That's what this does. You aim the phone with the UWB chip in it, and then presumably there's some other device we don't know, right? Maybe something called AirTags that you're aiming and you're looking for, and the phone goes, I don't know if it's going to go boop, 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 or if it'll just be a visual indicator or something. But as you point the phone around, it'll let you know where it is. So this is great if you lose your keys under the couch cushions or the remote, more likely. This will help you find it even inside the house. So that's going to be cool. Nobody else can do that. Although this week Apple did, in a kind of a coincidental thing, add their Find My service to some other third-party companies, including the Van Moof electric bicycle. I just say that because I like to say it. The Van Moof electric bicycle. Another tracking device, not Tile, not Tracker, oddly, but another one. I can't remember its name because I'd never heard of it before. But they've added it to that. They've added it to what else? I'm gonna have to find the story because I can't really remember in my mind. My mind cannot remember, nor can my spirit adjust to the fact that Apple is actually opening up one of their technologies. What? They never do that. So they're going to open that up, which tells me that they were worried about anti-competitive action from Congress or states. Tile's been really mad at them because they say, when Apple releases AirTags, they're just going to eat us alive. The Van Moof S3 and X3 e-bike, Belkin's Soundform Freedom True Wireless Earbuds, and the Chipolo. You see why I couldn't remember it? The Chipolo One Spot Item Finder, which is a kind of a Bluetooth tracking dongle that you could put on keys and stuff. The Chipolo. So this is interesting. So you'll open up the Find My app on your iPhone, and it will not only show all your Apple devices, it'll show your Van Moof bike, your Belkin earpods, and your Chipolo tracker. If you leave your Chipolo at Chipotle, is it a double chip? I don't know. Anyway, maybe you should get extra chips if you bring a Chipolo to Chipotle. Anyway, there's a new logo and a little label that says located with Apple Find My. I always thought it was weird that they dropped, it was originally Find My iPhone. I thought, why did they drop the iPhone and just Find My? It feels like ... like it's a sentence unfinished. Find my, what? Go ahead. Find my what? Well, now we know that's because it's going to be Find My Van Moof or my Chipolo. See, this is the I love this in the way in the tech industry. There's so many new companies every moment that all the good names are gone. So now it's basically baby talk. I have a Van Moof. I have a Chipolo. No, that's Google. Oh yeah, that's right. So I'm pretty sure they're going to announce these AirTags. I'm sorry, I got distracted. What else will they announce? Well, there's the question, and a new rumor is that they will announce party-colored iMacs, new design, in all the spring colors. Well, that would be interesting. They may also announce an iPad mini. That would be interesting. But we just don't know. We won't know till Tuesday, and I'll talk about it on Tuesday. I will. I'll talk about it on Tuesday because we do. Apple hates it when we do this. They do a stream that you're supposed to watch, but I feel it adds value if we get our top flight commentators on my podcast network together to comment as they're talking about it, so we can say, yeah, that's cool. No, you know what? That's been around for a while. Surprised. I didn't think they would do that. That kind of thing. So you get the additional comment. It's part of our podcast network at twit.tv. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 UTC, Tuesday, Apple's spring-loaded event. We'll know more then. That's Ms. Telephone Lady. Happy birthday, Kim Schaffer, celebrating her 29th birthday this week. It's so exciting.
Again and again and again and again.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Laura has a good memory. She's young.
She remembered.
She did.
Yeah, it was Tuesday?
It was Wednesday.
Okay, see what I'm saying?
The day you got your shot. I got mine the next day.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
So you doubled your second shot.
Yeah.
So that means in
2 weeks we can hug.
2 weeks we can hug. A little less. That's exciting.
I didn't fare as well as you did, though. I did have a little bit of side effects going on.
It's because you're young.
It knocked me out all day Friday.
Did it? I was hoping because
I didn't sleep at all Thursday night. I had a good 11 hours after it.
Yeah.
Then didn't sleep at all Thursday night and slept most of Friday day.
Really hoping to have a good excuse.
Chills and sweats. Chills and sweats and chills and
You
sweats.
don't feel very good, though, so it's not fun.
No, it's not fun, but I
just
felt
wanted
like
to stay in bed, but I couldn't.
I felt like it was doing the right thing.
It is. That's your immune system going, what the heck have you just done?
Yeah.
We better get ready for whatever that is.
So I wasn't mad at it. I was at the time, but I'm not now.
Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Belatedly.
29. I'm going with it.
Love the 29. Man, your 30s. Wait till you get in your 30s. You're going to enjoy those. So
Prime time.
Who should?
Let's go to the UK. Lewis is in the UK, line 1.
Lewis?
So let's go far.
Lewis Hamilton, my favorite F1 race car driver.
Could be.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hello, Lewis. Thank you, Kim.
Hey, Leo. How are you today?
I am well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So I'm a huge fan. I've been listening for 12 or so years now.
Marvelous. I'm so glad you listen
that you do.
all the way in the UK. That's great.
Yeah.
Really nice.
So I've been running a free medical education website for med students for 10 years now. And you actually helped me out with it, I think, back on episode 796, 10 years ago.
You remember the number.
Yeah, back when I was just starting out.
Almost 1,000 shows ago.
Yeah. So I'm currently trying to produce some narrated educational videos for medical students, teaching them how to take a history from a patient.
Oh, how cool. So first, give us the link so everybody can...
Yeah, so it's geekymedics.com.
I love the name.
GeekyMedics.com.
GeekyMedics.com. And it's intended for medical students. Oh, that's got flashcards. How cool. Yeah. That's one of the things. You've got to learn all that anatomy, all the terms. So flashcards are very helpful. And you're going to do videos on bedside manner, how to take a history.
Exactly. So we've had the YouTube channel now for like 10 years. So we have like 600,000 subscribers.
I am so impressed. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Were you a med student, Lewis? How did you come up with this idea?
So I was listening to your podcast back then when I was just a med student, and I decided to buy a DSLR when they were new and HD was new.
Nice.
And convinced some friends to act as a patient and a doctor. We were all medical students, and we sort of acted out the key exams that med students sort of need to do to sort of pass their exams. They're called OSCEs.
Yeah. This is so cool. Congratulations on your success. Wow.
Yeah.
That's. Can you make a living at this, or is it just a labor of love?
So it's been a labor of love, but more recently it started to generate some revenue because we have an iOS and Android app. That's what I spoke to you about way back 10 years ago, was how to sort of create an app, because I wasn't sure.
Geeky Medics OSCE app. Nice.
Yeah, so that's sort of an optional thing. But I work part-time as a general practitioner or like a family doctor. I think that is in the US.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, 2 days a week, I work on Geeky Medics. So it's a mix.
Well, that is fantastic. Congratulations. What can I do to help you with the next level?
Yeah, so in relation to these videos and narration, I'm wanting to be able to, record audio that is good quality.
Yeah.
So I've bought myself a mic, which is an Audio-Technica mic, which seems okay. It's like the AT20.
One we recommend frequently, yeah, the ATR 2020 or 2021, yeah.
But I'm struggling because at the moment it's kind of propped up on my desk, the little tripod that it comes with, and I keep knocking it over. So there's a risk at any point I might knock it over right now.
Now, are you on camera or are you off camera for these?
So I'm off camera. Thankfully.
So it doesn't matter then what it looks like.
No, exactly.
Okay.
But the problem is it's picking up me sort of tapping the desk, etc. So I was wondering what your thoughts were around things like, mic boom arms.
Yeah.
And if you had that you would recommend on that front.
How much do you have to spend? There are some really good mic boom arms. In fact, we were just talking about this on MacBreak Weekly. Alex Lindsay, I don't know if you've watched his show. He calls it Office Hours. It's a thing he does on YouTube every morning for several hours. And it's all about video production. Yeah. So I highly recommend watching it. And Alex mentioned his favorite microphone arm on the show on MacBreak Weekly.
Okay.
And I'm using a Pyle, which I like, but your problem is a very big problem, because you hit the table and you have a stand mic. It's going to go. They call it telephonically, go right through the stand and into the microphone, and so it's actually amplified. It's louder.
Yeah, it sounds really loud, actually.
Yeah, so that's a very common problem. And arms help a little bit. I'm on an arm right now, so it's a little more distant. But ideally, you wouldn't have it on the table at all, or you'd have a shock mount. I have a spider mount, they call it, which is holding the microphone in an elastic cradle. That means even the vibrations. I'm hitting the arm right now. And there's a little rattling, but that you don't hear the rumble from the arm. So that's one way to do that is to get one way to do that would be to get a spider mount for your table mic. That would isolate it. That's going to be a little bit less expensive. I'm trying to remember what Alex. Let me see. There's a website.
I can check it out, Leo.
Yeah.
I've never watched that show, but I'll take a look at that.
There's a website, mbwpix.com. Was he up to date, though? I don't know if he's up to date. No, he's not. Shoot. It was just a fan who used to do this, but he's, I guess I take it back. He is up to date. Let me see if I can go through that and find Alex's pick for his favorite mic arms. I was, frankly, stunned by the cost. So just a word. We have Alex Lindsay.
With Alex.
Alex is a production guy who is used to spending a lot of money, and some of his picks are so expensive that we actually finally ended up coming up with a unit of value called the Alex, $700. And let me see if I can find this pick. I can't, but I will find it for you.
£200 or £300 would be like the limit.
It could be as much as that. It could be as much as that. I'll find it for you, and I will let you know. Congratulations on your success, Louis. That's great. Really, really nice to hear how well you're doing. Is it still fun for you?
Yeah, I still love doing it because I like doing 8-bit artwork as well. So we have that on the site. So it's kind of just.
I know. I love the little 8-bit stuff. I love that.
Yeah. And I dug up the past episode. That's how I knew it was $7.96. So it's like 1 hour, 12 minutes.
Isn't that hysterical?
And you looked at the old WordPress site and sort of gave me advice on how to convert a WordPress site into an app.
I'm sure I wasn't much help, but I'm glad that you figured it out and you're doing well. That's so good. That's so great.
Thanks, Leo.
Yeah.
Congrats on everything you're doing. It's amazing. I came and visited you, I think, 7 or so years ago at the studio. And
nice.
It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
It was cool.
Louis, I'm just, I'm verklempt. This is great. I'm very, very happy for you. Gosh, it's hard to find this in Alex's picks because all of them are you should absolutely kind of check out Office Hours because he is really.
I will do, yeah.
It is great for people like you.
But I've not tuned into it, yeah.
Microphone. I'm going to just search on the Google. Arm. See which one he picks. See if he mentions it. Here we go. 22 minutes and 20 seconds in to episode. This is for Office Hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's talking about boom lengths. That's not it. Shoot.
I have to admit, I didn't know that there was a boom length.
I can do some digging on that later.
If I can't find it this week, I will ask him on Tuesday, and I will get that information for you. But he did have, frankly, I think the Spider is the most affordable and most sensible solution. Then, although if you don't like a table stand because you keep hitting it, then an arm with a, which is what I'm using, an arm with a Spider. I use the Pyle arm, which is they're good quality arms. Alex likes the arm he recommends, and it's, by the way, now widely used on a lot of podcasts that do video because it looks cool, and it doesn't the springs don't wear out, which they sometimes do on these arms. Oh gosh, I wish I could find it. I wonder if there's anybody.
I think maybe I'll check out the Pyle. That seems reasonably priced.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see, Lewis. You're in the chat room. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. I dropped you in that link with the timestamp if you want to take a look.
Yeah, I see it. I will play it. That's fantastic. I'm glad you're doing so well.
Thanks, Leo. It's great to chat.
My pleasure. Nice to talk to you. Take care. Hey, I do know one thing. I know that Mint Mobile is the best deal in cell service out there. Mint Mobile, our sponsor for the Tech Guy program. So I every time I talk about them, I hold up this phone. That's because this is my iPhone SE from Mint Mobile. $15 for the phone, $15 for Mint Mobile. So for $30 a month, which is about a third what I pay T-Mobile, I get a phone and service. How does Mint Mobile do it? Simple. Mint Mobile's secret sauce, they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. No stores, saves them a huge amount of money, and that savings gets passed to you in the form of, well, a lower price, plus no mystery fees, no weird overhead costs. They just pass the sweet savings on to you. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we'd learned anything, we've learned there's always a catch. So it would be natural you might think there's a catch. There's no catch. There's no catch. And I can tell you because I've been using it for more than a year. Mint Mobile, premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network, unlimited text, unlimited talk, nationwide, and high-speed service. You can bring your own phone. They'll send you a SIM free, no charge. No one else does that either. And, of course, if at any time you're not 100% satisfied, they've got a 7-day money-back guarantee, so no risk. Switch now to Mint Mobile. Get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. They have unlimited plans. I actually have a plan for $25 a month that gives me 15 gigabytes of storage a month. I never use it up. mintmobile.com/techguide to get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to you for free. They sell phones too. As I said, I've got a great iPhone SE from them. mintmobile.com/techguy. Cut your wireless bill with $15 a month. mintmobile.com/techguy. Thank you, Mint Mobile, for supporting the Tech Guy podcast. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. All my friends driving Formula One vehicles. Actually, all my friends driving EVs. Sam Abuelsamid is here, our car guy, principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights, the podcast Wheel Bearings is at wheelbearings.media. If you love cars, you'll love Wheel Bearings. I can't believe the number of Teslas I see driving around here in Northern California now.
Unfortunately, last night there was one in the Houston area that apparently did not have a driver behind the steering wheel.
Is that the wreck I see behind you? I don't normally like to see wrecks.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, well, I put this up because I wanted to remind people that regardless of whatever Elon Musk says, Teslas and neither Teslas nor any other car that you can buy today are self-driving. You cannot buy a self-driving car from any manufacturer anywhere in the world today.
And Tesla gets dinged, I think, and I think rightly so, for calling it autopilot. That makes people feel like
not just autopilot,
they don't have to
but
drive.
also full self-driving.
They actually use FSD now?
Yeah, so autopilot is the standard feature, so that's what you get standard now. So that's your lane centering and adaptive cruise control functionality, and then they also sell autopilot or full self-driving package for $10,000 on top of that. But it's not full self-driving, regardless of what they call it and regardless of what Musk claims. It's not self-driving, and this crash last night in Houston. Or near Houston, the car ran off the road, slammed into a tree, caught fire. apparently there was
there anybody
in the
in it?
Passenger seat.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, there were 2 people who died. One in the front passenger seat.
Oh my
one
God.
in the rear. Nobody in the driver's seat. Because
so somebody got out of the driver's seat and got in the back
climbed
seat?
in the back.
Oh,
yes.
You freaking moron.
There was a video that got several 100,000 views on TikTok this week as well of somebody else doing the same thing, climbing it and climbed into the back seat of his Tesla.
Now, what went wrong? What did the car hit?
It slammed into a tree. It just ran off the road and slammed into a tree.
Didn't see it.
Yeah.
How would that happen?
According to the police, there's a local TV news report. They talked to the police. They show the tire tracks as the car basically was coming around a curve and was unable to stay on the road. It didn't negotiate the curve properly and just ran off the road and hit this tree just off the side of the road. Hit it head on. Caught fire.
Well, that's not self-driving.
About 4 hours to extinguish the battery fire.
Oh my goodness! Was this a Model 3? What was the?
It doesn't say.
It's hard to tell. By the way, if you're listening, you're not seeing the picture, but that car is utterly demolished. There's nothing left of it.
I think it's actually a Model S.
So what happens in these wrecks because of the lithium-ion batteries? If they get punctured, you're going to have a fire, and most fire crews don't yet really understand it's an electrical fire. They can't put it out in a normal way. So it is going to burn to the ground, which this one did, obviously. Wow.
Yeah, and so this is why I just want to remind everybody,
please,
regardless of what you drive, whether it's a Tesla or any other brand of vehicle, you must keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and pay attention. Yeah. Unless, the only exception to that is if you have something from GM with Super Cruise, which is a hands-off system, but you do still have to keep your eyes on the road and watch the road. And GM does use a driver monitor system, which we've talked about previously, is also on your Mustang Mach-E.
So the one that Tesla uses requires torque on the steering wheel, a little nudge in the steering wheel periodically. Probably what was happening is the guy in the passenger, they were probably shooting a video for YouTube or TikTok. The guy in the passenger seat would reach over and tug the wheel, but he's not driving. He doesn't control the pedals, really can't control the car. So he's not a safety driver in any fashion. The car is on its own, and clearly it's not prepared to be on its own anymore. The cameras on the GM cars, and my Mach-E has this camera as well. That means
it's an infrared camera.
You have to be sitting at the wheel and looking at the road. It can see you.
Right. And as you learned a few years ago when you and I tested the Cadillac CT6 with that system on.
Yeah, it was very effective.
It's not just a matter of keeping be sitting behind the wheel, but you actually have to be watching the road because it's watching for your eyes and your head position.
Yeah.
And that's the same system that's going to be on that's in your Mach-E.
Yeah, it looks
and
the
just
same.
earlier this week, Ford announced the branding for their hands-free system. They're going to call it Blue Cruise because Ford and blue.
Yeah.
And the over-the-air software update to enable that will be coming out sometime this summer.
Yeah. And it's so anybody who has a Mach-E will get this, or no, you have to have a specially equipped Mach-E.
All but the base model. So all the premium trim levels, so the first edition, the Select, or everything but the Select. The Select is the base model. All the other trims come with the hardware, standard equipment. And the base model, you can get it as part of an extra option package. And then also on the F-150, the Ford F-150 pickup, they also offer the prep package for this.
One thing that the CT6 did is it would also only work on roads that had been mapped, highways basically, freeways.
Yes.
That have been mapped by GM. Is that going to be the same in the Blue Cruise?
The same is true for Blue Cruise, as well as the version 2 of Nissan's ProPilot that's coming out later this year on the new Nissan Ariya, which is their new electric crossover that launches towards the end of this year. It's also geofenced.
This has historically been the case that the legacy auto manufacturers are very careful about safety and very conservative about adding these kinds of features. And Tesla has made its name in the market because Elon and company.
By being reckless.
They're not
reckless.
Aggressive.
No, he's reckless.
Reckless. Okay.
I'll say it. Elon Musk is reckless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to this.
They announced for, I think it was for the Model Y, maybe the Model 3, a yoke steering wheel like in an airplane. Did they ever ship that? I thought it might not be legal because you can't do hand-over-hand steering on a yoke.
NHTSA has ruled that it is legal, but they have not yet actually started to ship those cars yet.
Don't buy that car, folks. That's just dumb.
Order the standard round steering wheel, please.
Yeah, on race cars, the steering is very much more sensitive, so they don't need hand-over-hand steering. But on a regular car, I think you want a regular round wheel. I know it's not as cool, Elon. It doesn't look like you're a fighter pilot, but you know what? You're not.
But to Chevy guy in the chat, yes, I did say geofenced. So the system is limited to only operating on certain approved mapped highways.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. That way, there's fewer. You can't say no surprises because there's always construction and things. But there's fewer.
It's a more controlled environment.
Yeah, and self-driving works better on a freeway because freeways are not built with hard turns and
you don't have intersections. You don't have pedestrians very often. So
was this that's a sad story. This vehicle on a freeway. Where was it?
No, it looks like it was in an urban or suburban area.
So sad.
Some sort of suburban area.
Well, I'm very sorry for the death of those passengers. There was no driver, and a good cautionary tale. And I think some responsibility. I think Tesla has to bear some responsibility for overselling the capabilities.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the National Transportation Safety Board has said that in several investigations over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Very sad.
Just one last thing before we run out of time. Quick. I just want to let everybody know that on wheel bearings, we're having another change starting this week. My longtime co-host Dan Roth is leaving, and Roberto Baldwin is taking his place.
Who is one of my favorites. You two are my favorite car guys. I will be listening. Wheelbearings.media. That's really a horrific picture. I mean, just horrific.
Yeah, I saw that pop up in my Twitter feed, my Twitter timeline this morning, and I decided this is what I should talk about today, just to remind people.
That's not necessarily what the crash looked like, of course. That's after the fire.
Yeah, that's after 4 hours of trying to extinguish the fire.
Yeah. So our fire crews, I mean, obviously they know now there are a lot of electric vehicles out there. They're going to have to treat these electric vehicle accidents differently.
Well, yeah, I mean, the fundamental problem is that the electrolyte that's in the batteries is an organic compound that's got oxygen in it. And so when the fire starts, putting
foam on it doesn't work.
Heats up.
You can't smother it.
Right, because when you put foam or water on a fire normally, you're preventing the oxygen in the atmosphere from getting to the fuel, and it can't burn. It puts out the fire. But the electrolyte is generating its own oxygen. It's giving off oxygen when it heats up, and so even underneath the foam, it's still feeding that fire with the oxygen that it's generating itself, and that's why it's so difficult to extinguish a battery fire.
Yeah, in fact, these recycling plants where they're getting battery, lithium-ion battery fires, some of these fires burn for years. I mean, they just burn and burn because you can't put them out. There's mines that are still burning because you can't put them out.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Fortunately, batteries don't catch fire very often. So, gasoline, fueled vehicles probably catch fire a lot more frequently than battery vehicles do.
Oh, yeah.
But, once you smother it, the fire goes out, and they tend to burn themselves out fairly quickly as well.
Right. They're much more aggressive in the burning, as we know from Formula One. All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. A somber segment this week, but always welcome. Yep. Thank you, Sam. And I can't wait. When does Roberto start? Next week? This week? We're
going to record our first show with him on Thursday.
I'll be listening.
So great. Probably next weekend we'll have that first episode.
Can't wait. Thanks, Sam.
All right. Bye.
Have a safe week. Take care. Leo Laporte. the tech guy. Thanks for listening. 88, no secrets. I'm not revealing any secrets. 8888, ask Leo the phone number. Tracy's on the line from Ashland, Oregon. Hi, Tracy.
Thank you, Leo, for taking my call. I appreciate it very much.
My great pleasure. What can I do for you?
Well, two things. Thank you for your show, and thank you to your sponsors. I need to say that because your public service couldn't transpire if it weren't for them. So
boy, you're right. Thank you. That's a very good point. Yep. I mean, I could do it for free, but we wouldn't be able to pay anybody, and the electricity bill, I don't know who would take care of that. So, yeah, you're right. We need the sponsors.
Please do. They're awesome.
And don't tell the boss I do it for free, please.
Boss.
That's my secret. I would, though. I love doing this. So what can I do for you, Tracy?
So I'm with my sister, and she does a lot of public speaking as well as writing, and she was using a program called Dragon Naturally Speaking.
Yes, they just got bought by Microsoft.
Well, she purchased a new MacBook Pro, and the MacBook Pro that she purchased does not support that program.
She got the M1 version, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to let the two of you speak. I just wanted to set it up of what because she can tell you exactly what she does and does not want. So her name is Laurel.
Hi, Laurel.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm great. What do you speak about when you do public speaking?
I am a mediator and emotional resolution practitioner.
Oh, how interesting.
And I love to do family mediation, and when there's...
You are a glutton for punishment. That must be sometimes very tense.
Oh, I love teenagers. They're fabulous.
Oh, God.
I love teenagers.
It's good someone does.
Yes. Anyway, so I'm doing some writing, and I'm going to be doing a lot of Zoom and blah, blah, blah. I need to have a dictating opportunity where I can speak into my computer in a print for me.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've tried it. That we call this TTS STT, speech to text. And Apple does have a speech to text built in via Siri. Have you tried the speech to text? Because I think it's quite good.
So do you still think that's my best option? I was hoping you could come up with something better.
I can come up with something better. I'm just wondering if that suits. It doesn't, you're saying?
Yeah, I'd like something better. I really want to do professional model.
So the nice thing about Dragon, I don't know if it's better recognition. I think the Apple recognition is pretty much as good as is the Google, but it has things like stop, back, edit, change that,
Correct.
Things like that you might have missed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So Nuance, the company that bought Dragon a couple of years ago, stopped making it for the Mac.
Correct.
And Nuance just got bought by a bigger fish, a little company you might have heard of called Microsoft.
Oh, that little company?
Yeah, that little company. So it's possible, given Microsoft's actually, oddly enough, affection for the Mac and desire to be on that platform, it's possible they could start up something. But there are other choices for Macintosh speech recognition. Did you get the M1 PowerBook, the new one?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a further issue because it's a couple of things. First of all,
I think I have the new one.
Is it the 13-inch?
Yeah, I got the 6. Yes, it's the larger one.
No, if it's 16, it's Intel still.
Okay, so then I still have an Intel.
Yeah, that's actually good because the M1, frankly, is leaving some software behind because you have to rewrite it.
Okay.
The best was easily Dragon, naturally speaking. My friend David Pogue, who writes many, many books and does a lot of public speaking, used it for years. There was nothing better out there. I think perhaps because Apple has its own speech-to-text engine, just like Microsoft, that may have discouraged people from creating third-party programs to do it. I'm just looking through the choices, and they're really very poor.
I kind of looked through some of them, and I couldn't really navigate which one would be a better choice. So,
well, the only one that looks even close to Dragon and is still available on the Mac is called Express Dictate. And it's from NCH Software. It's an Australian company. nch.com.au.
Okay.
It's for a dictaphone, but
Well, that would be okay. So that means it goes from a dictaphone and then downloads.
Yeah, and if you've ever used a dictaphone, you'll like it because it has dictaphone-like features. You can try it on their website, which is nice. Supports things like the dictaphone foot pedals and things like that. So I would take a look at I would take a look at that. I think it's a weird market right now because everybody, Google, Microsoft, and Apple, all three have their own engines. And I think what's going to be very interesting to see what Microsoft does with Nuance. That's going to take a while for this to close. It's a huge acquisition, almost $20 billion. It's the second biggest acquisition Microsoft's ever made. There has to be regulatory approval because of the size of it. So these things probably, 6 months before anything happens. But
I want to start now.
You need something now.
Yeah.
Do you use Microsoft Word?
Yes.
So that also that has Microsoft's engine in it. You might try that. That has a little bit more capability.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you use a headset for the dictation? A headset mic?
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no.
That will give you better results. Dragon used to come in a box with a headset because it really needed it. So I would try a better microphone if you're not getting great results. My experience with Google, Microsoft, and Apple, all three are very accurate. They don't have, unfortunately, the edit features that Dragon had, but they seem to do and I would expect this. Dragon, one of the reasons Nuance was sold is Dragon has been Dragon lately. They haven't been doing the development that they ought to keep up. And I think everybody's looking at these big companies doing their engines and saying, well, we're not going to try to compete with Google, Microsoft.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just...
and that was one of the things that I thought was actually happening.
Yeah, it's exactly, your instinct was right. You do, we're going to put a link in the show notes. Somebody has just posted a Dictate, which is an add-on for Microsoft Office that is an experiment from Microsoft. See, Microsoft's working on this all the time. And it has commands like new line, stop dictation, enter. It doesn't seem to have the edit commands. Boy, that was the best part of Dragon. So I guess what you're going to kind of be stuck with is these engines from the big three, and as they get better and better, Dragon, ended up making most of its money on medical dictation and specialized dictation.
Yes, and because I'm a high chance, I've actually used that program.
Those are very good. Yeah.
And that was what I was so amazed at. Their medical programs work better than the regular program
because it's a constrained vocabulary, right? So it's easier. Yeah. The real difficulty for all of these engines is understanding the context. So that homonyms, words that sound the same but have different meanings, are easily detected by the software, and that's easier in a constrained vocabulary. If you're a radiologist dictating bone fractures, the software kind of knows what you're doing. General purpose dictation is a lot harder. I would still give it, you have to go into the Apple control panel, the system preference pane, and turn on voice. You double tap the function key. You can assign your own key. I would try it. It only does short passages. I find it very accurate. And then absolutely, if you're using Microsoft Office, try Microsoft Word's dictation because that is a little bit more professional. Those are the two I would give a shot to. Yeah, there's other ways. So, are you still there?
Yes, we are.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not done quite with you. I just ran out of time.
Thank you, sir. I said I told my sister I gotta call Leo.
Yeah. So a little bit more. I use and a number of journalists use a thing called Otter, OTTAR.ai. Now, what you'll do.
I was looking that one up.
Yeah, what you do with that is you record it ahead of time. It's not real time. With Dragon, you watch the words come out. Otter, you record it, and then you send it to them or you upload it to them, and they do it. And because they're doing it not in real time. They actually can be much more accurate. There are a lot of solutions like this. A lot of journalists will use Otter. That's actually how I first learned about it. Kevin Roos at the New York Times would record interviews, and normally you go home and you type them up, which is a pain. Now with Otter, and you could do this with your mediations, you put a little recorder there, and the transcript, Otter does the transcripts after the fact, and I think does a very, very good job. It's also... Go ahead.
So when is it... so when you say after the fact, what's the time span after the fact?
Oh, it's pretty quick.
What's quick?
Yeah. Minutes?
Oh, okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But try it. There are a number of companies that do this. Some are faster than others. Otter is software driven. There's some that they will hire people. In fact, there's some very clever ways to do this where they get 4 different people to transcribe it. Then they have a weighted system. They do little chunks of it. Then they have a weighting system, WEIGHT, that will compare all 4 and choose the one that's the best. So these are human transcription services. Otter is, I believe, machine transcription. So it's a little faster. The time to complete text for Otter, they say, is 6 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Some of the human-based transcription services can be half an hour, sometimes even hours. So that wouldn't be good for you, it sounds like. They're more accurate. I got to say, they're more accurate because of the time they take. Okay. Otter's pretty good. PC Magazine has a review of the best transcription services, and they have a table here, and I'm looking at it, that says Otter is 17% error rate. The best is 3%, but those are the slowest as well. So, yeah, so they liked one called Rev, but that's a human. It's accurate because a human's doing it. They say that's their top choice, REV.
Okay, and what is that? Did they say the time on that?
Yeah, about an hour.
An hour, okay. Yeah, so that won't work.
On their website, Rev says 12 hours, but that's probably they're being conservative. So Otter is almost instant because it's machine. But there's a little advantage with a machine, right? Because doing it this way, because they don't have to, Dragon and Apple and Google, Microsoft have to do it in real time. So they got to do it quickly. The machine can take more time, and so context can be more valuable, and they can figure out a little bit more what you mean. And do you care about accuracy? How much do you care about accuracy?
When I'm doing a mediation at the end, like when I have an adult and a child, teenager, and we're in a mediation, and I want it to write it out, and so they can sign it right there, and then they leave. Okay.
It's accurate enough that you could probably do that. You might want to go through it again and just fix homonyms and stuff, but it's pretty. I like Otter. I've always been very impressed with Otter.
Okay, well that was one of the ones that I've been looking at. So
good. And if you're in a mediation, you're going to want good mics, or you're going to kind of want a good recording. The better the recording, the less likely there'll be errors. I'll put a link to this PC Magazine article in our show notes so you can look at it. They talk about the pros and cons of a number of these.
And as far as microphones, what do you suggest for a microphone?
You don't need to spend a lot of money. You just don't. The problem is if you're putting a recorder in the middle of the table or a computer in the middle of the table, it's not going to be as good as if you have a microphone for each speaker. And you can just get a small, inexpensive Audio-Technica or something like that to do that. That gets a little more complicated. But if you find the accuracy is low, that might help. It can only do as well as it can hear, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So a good, even a good omnidirectional in the middle of the table would help. Hey, it's a pleasure talking to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, smart microwave ovens, electric vehicles, self-driving sort of vehicles, and all of that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to talk high tech. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Richard's on the line from Delray Beach, Florida. Our next caller. Hi, Richard.
Hello, Leo.
Hello, Richard.
Long-time listener, I think second-time caller.
Oh, that's good. Good. You're back for more.
I'm always ready for more.
Okay. What can I do for you?
Well, I have a number of different platforms that I have accumulated over the years. I got a couple of PCs with varying Windows and Office installations. I have an iPhone, an iPad. I now have another Android phone. And my problem is keeping my contacts.
Oh, yes.
Well, two things. One is a lot of duplicates.
Yeah.
A remnant of my days with Plaxo.
Oh, my God. I remember that. Oh, I still get chills when you say that name.
Especially the calendars. I mean, I don't know what they were doing, but still.
Yeah. Plaxo was terrible. The worst thing is Plaxo would continually pester everybody in your contact list saying, hey, update, you want to join? Hey, update. It's like, thank you.
Well, originally, it was okay because you could send out an email. I could send an email to you saying, this is the contact information I have for you. Feel free to update it or correct it, and that'd be great. Then they went to, well, in order to do that, you had to join Plaxo.
Right.
And that's when I stopped.
It became a spam engine.
Yeah. But anyway,
this is a universal problem, by the way, because synchronization is hard. If you change a contact on one thing and then change it on another thing, then the contact sync doesn't know which is real. It may make a duplicate. In other words, it wants to err on the side of caution and not delete anything, because that would be far worse than having multiple entries for the same person. But as a result, over time, everybody who has an address book they've been using synchronization software with of any kind is going to have lots of duplicates. What is your primary platform? What do you use most of the time? Because that's where we want to get this fixed.
I think I use my iPhone, because when I'm out and about and somebody gives me a phone number or an email or something, or a phone number.
So I'm glad to hear you say that, because I have a solution for you that is iPhone only. So there have been, and there's Contacts Plus. There have been a lot of paid services that are designed to kind of...
I don't mind paying. If it'll work, I don't mind paying.
So that's a good one, Contacts Plus. I use Google Contacts. It doesn't solve... It solves the second part of the problem. It doesn't solve the duplicate part, but at least it lets you have ideally what you'd have is, I have made it perfect, my contact list. That's the single source of truth. And now I want that single source of truth on everything. And then anywhere it's changed, I want it automatically updated everywhere. That's what you're going for. That's what everybody wants. Hard to do. Yeah. Google Contacts is the best at that. But let me tell you about something new. So Marissa Mayer, who used to be a VP at Google, went and took over Yahoo, tried to save it, couldn't. Her third act is a company called Sunshine, sunshine.com.
I think I signed up to get notifications from those folks and then never, I think.
Yeah, because it's invite only still. Check to see if you got an invite, because I've been using it. And it does the dedupe thing. It does the sync thing. They call it the world's most advanced intuitive contact manager. They're trying to solve this exact problem. Once you've got your iPhone, and so since you say I primarily use my iPhone, you can use that to add you can use anything to add new contacts, but you can use that to add new contacts. What periodically will happen as Sunshine mushes the contacts is they will show you there are duplicates. They will enhance some of them by pulling from other sources. And much like Plaxo, it's really like Plaxo minus the spam. Other Sunshine users can say, hey, I'd like to exchange info with you, and you can do the same with them. But it doesn't have the really awful spam. It has it lives up to, in my mind, to the promise of Plaxo. Meyer clearly remembers Plaxo. We all do, with a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah.
She clearly wants to give you some of those features without the spammy nature of it. And so, and it's free, but you got to get an invite. I would check your email since you said you signed up for it to see if you got an invite. I got an invite within a week or two of applying, so I don't think it's.
Well, I'll check again.
Yeah, and if not, just reapply.
Sure.
You do it with your phone number because it is tied to the iPhone. And then I would turn on Google. I would either turn on iCloud Sync, but you say you have some Windows machines, so I would turn on Google Sync, but the real key here is blast out the contacts. What I would recommend periodically is find one source of truth, whichever contact list that is. Go through it, clean it up, delete people who have died, who've moved on that you don't like.
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
It's hard, I know. I have quite a few. As you get older, kids, just keep this in mind. As you get older, this is what's going to happen.
Oh, yes.
And in a way, it's kind of nice because it's a little memory of this person.
Yeah,
Sunshine keeps track of, it integrates additional information, times you've emailed and stuff like that. So I think there really is some nice features in this that I really like. So I would give it a try. But my goal would be, say, take one address book, clean it up, delete it and export it so it's a standalone. It's not syncing. It's an exported standalone file. Delete the contact list everywhere now, everywhere, so you don't have any of that old stuff lying around. Take that fixed up one, import it into whichever your primary source is, and then use that primary source to synchronize to everywhere else using Google Contacts.
Yeah, I've tried to do this using, I use Excel a lot, so I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, you can do it with Excel, you bet.
Bring them in and use them to...
If you're good with Excel, it's perfect for that.
Yeah.
But I would, honestly, I think Marissa Mayer has a great reputation. I'm not sure what the long-term plan is with Sunshine, but I have been very impressed with it, to be honest with you. So I'm
on the site. I will put in an email address.
There's also contactsplusplus.com, and that's a similar idea. They have
used Full Contact also.
Full Contact I think they acquired Full Contact, actually. I used Full Contact for a long time. So, and those have deduping features, but you got to be really careful.
They're not all that good.
Yeah.
They sometimes say something that has the same name. No, it's actually just the same company.
Yeah, exactly. My father has the same name as I do, and every program I've used tries to merge him with me, even though all of the information is different. It should be smart enough to know that Leo F. Laporte is not the same as Leo G. Laporte. It should know that, but it doesn't. That's all right.
You would think.
You would think. And do back it up and make an external backup that is not synchronized once you've got it close, because that's going to be your source of truth going forward.
So the Google thing, that's just their contacts?
And you can import from anything, including an Excel spreadsheet at contacts.google.com. The benefit of that is Apple uses it, Windows uses it, everybody uses it. So,
really?
Yeah, so it can become your standard. And then it's online as well, which is very nice if you don't happen to have access. You can get to the website.
I'll take a look at that too.
It's a really good question, Richard.
All the time.
This is a universal. Yeah. Well, if you use Google Calendar, Google Contacts is the obvious partner.
I'd like to sync Google Calendar with my other calendars, Outlook and.
Once you, so Outlook's a little trickier. There is a tool to do that, but on Apple, you sign in your Google account on the iPhone or Mac, and then it will automatically sync everywhere.
Well, I've got different accounts.
That's tricky then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Sunshine has a lot of promise. Full Contact.
I'll take a look.
I agree. Contact Plus. I agree. All right. Have a great day. Nice to talk to you again.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure, Richard. It's a universal issue. So everybody has this problem, and the other option is just to live with it. There's storage is infinite these days, and contact lists aren't very big, and you just go, I have 3 different entries for that person. It kind of bugs you. Depends on how finicky you are, how tidy you are. Sometimes with computers, tidiness is hard to achieve. Fletch on the line, in Groveland, Florida, our next caller. Hello, Fletch.
Hey, Leo. How you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
Not too bad at all, actually. I've got just a couple things I wanted to mention to you. First of all, I want to thank you very much, you and the chat room, for helping me a few weeks ago with getting Xenix up and going.
Xenix, did you get it going?
Got it going. Unfortunately, the game I wanted to play, Hack, is a separate disc I got to get, so I got to figure out how to get that. And I'll be happy.
Hack is one of the very early computer games. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's the most difficult game I've ever played.
Is it really? I've never played it. So,
just spend an hour, and I guarantee every single game is different. There are literally hundreds of monsters.
It's a rogue style game.
Rogue.
It's rogue.
A rogue-based game.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, is I know that you use you talk about several different backups. I'm surprised you never mentioned Backblaze.
Backblaze is, of course, one of the kings for years and years and years of this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The great thing I love about Backblaze for my backup is I'm able to back up also external drives, which you can't do with other ones. With Carbonite, you can't install unless
not with Carbonite. You can with iDrive, but not with Carbonite. Yeah.
Okay, so I love that. Anyway, the most important thing though is I need help to help my wife. She recently started a business, and she makes just beautiful bracelets and everything else. Just does a lot of stuff like that.
How nice!
And she started.
Is she going to do an Etsy shop or something? Or
she has an Etsy shop, and she also has a website that she's done.
Well, tell us so we can all look at this.
Oh, hello. Okay, it's called. This is a long name. I need to get her to change the name.
You can thank me later, Fletch. Okay.
I appreciate that. It's called Florida Dreamin' without the G. Fripperies.com.
Florida Dreamin' Fripperies. I like it.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's and she it's just a beautiful stuff. It's amazing what she can do.
Oh, it's pretty. Yeah,
I'm amazed.
Very pretty.
So, but the thing is that we're trying to get Google Analytics to work properly on.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You always give me the hard ones, don't you?
Well, the thing is, I think I've got it set up.
It's a little bit of JavaScript. So Google offers, and I've been using this for years on my website, my personal websites, our company websites, because it's free and it really gives you a very good idea of who's visiting your site, from where, how often. I mean, there's all sorts of information from Google Analytics. I just think they do a fantastic job. Now, they've changed it a little bit, and I should also point out that I have now a team of much more accomplished web guys doing this stuff. So it's been a while since I've messed with it. But as I remember, the key is you're going to put a little snippet, a JavaScript snippet, and they'll give you some idea of where to put it. I don't think it matters all that much. What's the trouble you're having?
And see, well, the thing is, I think I've got that all set up correctly. And if I do a search on it, I can find it. But I've been there before, so I'm not convinced that it's just Google saying, "Oh, you've been here before. This may be what you're looking for," type thing. So,
you want so analytics is distinct from Google search.
Oh, you know what? You're okay.
So you want to improve your search results, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but the only reason
analytics is the other end of that. Analytics tells you how effective you've been in generating traffic to your site. It's a traffic monitor. It gives you, remember the old days of websites, you'd have a little thing, a hit counter? It's like that, only about 1,000 times better.
Okay. Well, she keeps getting an email from a company saying, "Hey, we noticed that your Google..."
Ignore those emails. Those guys are spammers. Just tell your wife, honey, we all get them. So there's a thing out there called SEO, Search Engine Optimization. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of snake oil. There's some merit, but there's a lot of snake oil in SEO. Google, if you ask them, Google will tell you, you don't need to do anything. Just make your content great and people will find you. That's not quite true, Google, but nice try. My suggestion is start with Webmaster Tools. This is Google Search Central. If you Google Webmaster Tools, this is something Google's done since they began. And it is Google Webmaster's resources. Let's see, it's a long URL. Maybe google.com/webmasters would give you here's the title. You want to be found on the web. We want to help. And it will help you, but it's complicated. You are going to do things like learn which search terms people use to get to floridadreamandfripperies.com, and then modify perhaps some of your content. The first 1,500 words matter. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. There are people who sell consultancy services. We actually use them. There's some legitimate ones who will say, yeah, your problem here is this button needs to be lower and there needs to be in the title of your page. For instance, one of the things very important is the title tag, of your page. Mm-hmm. Google uses that in the search results. The first 1,500 words are important. So all of this you can learn from google.com/webmasters. I would start there. It's a learning process. I know you can do everything you need to do and want to do yourself. I don't think you should hire an SEO firm. That's down the road, perhaps. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Tech Guy Podcast brought to you quite literally this week and every week by CacheFly. CacheFly is our content delivery network, our CDN. That's how you get the files when you go to the website, when you download it, when you use your podcast client. And it's CacheFly for the last 10 years. It's really been making sure that our shows get to everybody who wants to listen to them promptly and quickly. They came to our rescue about 10 years ago, but they've been around. They've been doing content delivery since 1999. Now they've added something new for streamers you're going to love. It's ultra low latency streaming. We're not talking WebRTC. Thank goodness. We're talking something very special using SLDP and HLS streams. Less than 1 second latency. But there are more perks. You can play it anywhere. They have a great HTML5 player, offers easy support anywhere. There's an SDK available, so you can do mobile support if you want, whether you need your player to run on websites or on applications, on a mobile, on any platform. They've got you covered. And by the way, CacheFly is truly global. They've got 50 POPs all over the world. In fact, they added a bunch of points of presence in South America, so service there has been incredible. It's the fastest CDN for global throughput anywhere. And those low latency streams will be streaming quickly no matter where your viewers are, no matter what continent there are. And it can be scaled a lot. More than 1 million users concurrently. That's pretty good, right? It can ingest thousands of synchronous streams. It's a very reliable ingest platform, by the way, designed for transmuxing thousands of streams simultaneously. They've got live failover. They can ingest RTMP, RTMPS, SRT, and more. And as I said, they'll give you this ultra low latency, less than 1 second SLDP and HLS streams. And they can do that at the same time. Get a custom-built solution just for your needs. And all built on top of CacheFly's superb, reliable, robust global network with ingest and delivery wherever you need it, anywhere in the world. The best support, too, 24/7, 365 days a year. More than 1 million streams, less than 1 second latency, 5 times faster than other CDNs. It's the world's most reliable CDN backed by 100% SLA. We've been happy customers for more than a decade. And they're making others happy by supporting World Central Kitchen during COVID. They have helped serve 300,000 warm meals, donating over $50,000. CacheFly's been in this business for so long, since 2002, when they pioneered the first Anycast CDN infrastructure. Their best hop technology automatically finds the fastest route to and from customer origin across their global network of POPs for maximum performance and reliability. All I can say is, as a customer and as an end user, CacheFly is just the best. Get a complimentary detailed analysis of your current CDN bill and usage trends right now. You may be overpaying as much as 20% for your CDN, and if you don't have a CDN, you're missing the boat. Go to twit.cachefly.com. No pressure, no sales, just information. twit.cachefly.com. Thank you, Cashfly, for making TWiT possible. We really appreciate it. twit.cashfly.com. It's Kodachrome time! Time for our digital photography guru, my photo sensei, if you will, Chris Marquardt at sensei.photo. Namaste, Chris. Chris is a very talented photographer who, unfortunately, thanks to COVID-19, had to stop doing his travel workshops, but now does all of the same coaching and learning online at Sensei, SENSEI.photo. When are you gonna hit the road again, though? Pretty soon, I would bet. Yeah.
Well, it's. I think my shot is about, the first one is about a month out, and then another month after that. So I would think maybe fall, maybe early next year. There's so much other stuff that I've ramped up during this time now. So I kind of don't really miss the travel that much anymore.
Yeah, that's one of the lessons of COVID-19 is a lot of the new ways of doing things during quarantine are going to stick, I think. Good for you.
I think honestly, I will continue the travel stuff, but I might reduce it drastically because, well, environment and everything. So might be just a few very select photo tours during the year, maybe just 2 or 3 of them. And there's other stuff that I'm now deep into. So
today we are going to return to a topic of some months ago.
Yes,
color.
Color. I could talk for color I could do an entire 1-week workshop just about color. So we haven't finished talking about color when we visited it, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And so I just wanted to bring a few more things out about color. We usually don't really keep it in mind when we take photos, but colors can really have a function in our photos. There's saturated colors, there's desaturated colors. Color has a way to guide your attention. Like warm color will trump a cool color, so things become more important as they're warm. Color can create harmony in a photo. We're looking at different color harmonies, complementary colors, and these kind of things. We're looking at saturation, the one that you're showing right now, the one that was a very low saturation one, lots of pastel colors that have sort of a dreamy feeling. And then when you advance, you will find colors that are very saturated, very strong. And this one of the current Icelandic volcano. I mean, there's just so much amazing photography of that out there. Color can help simplify an image.
Chris puts together a gallery of images to illustrate the concepts that obviously on radio you can't see, but we will post a link on our show notes at techguylabs.com. They're all Flickr images by other photographers, and we'll describe them as you talk about them. Sorry, I just want to explain
no worries. No worries. One technique that I often use to simplify images. Well, first of all, I strive to simplify images because they're easier to look at. They have a bit more of a message. And to simplify an image, one of the techniques is to reduce the color palette. Take out colors. Try to find compositions that are, that maybe have 2 or 3 different colors in them. Not more.
Here's
that will really change your photography.
Red fire hydrant with a white hat and a yellow protection.
Yep.
That's nice. That really stands out because it's simple.
And those colors guide your attention. I mean, it's very clear what you're looking at. Those 2 pillars and the red fire hydrant are clearly the key subjects in this photo. Yeah. So simplification by taking colors out is really one of the things I strive for. Colors can also suggest depth in a photo, which is something that we've seen in film a lot, that you see in nature. Things that are closer usually have more saturation, and things that are further away. If you look at the mountains in the distance, they're always less saturated, always less contrasty. And if you reflect this in a photo, if you have saturated stuff in it and not so saturated stuff, then that saturated stuff will will stand out versus the cooler colors, and the low contrasty ones will recede into the depth of the picture. So you can add some depth by just using the colors. And then, of course, color creates mood in a photo, gives our subconscious kind of a hint about what it's for. You see this in film a lot, like in movies a lot. Color grading, that's a profession. In movies, there's people who put some additional mood into the movie by looking at every single scene and modifying it to help transport the message that they want. The director wants you to see in that.
In The Godfather,
it's really an amazing kind of thing.
The director of photography, Santo Lacosta, took all of the film and dragged it through tea.
That's a different kind of approach.
To give it a kind of
but it certainly aged it.
You don't need to do it anymore. You could do it digitally. But in those days, and the thing that was scary, it was already exposed. It was already shot. So that was a risky thing to do, but it produced a remarkable effect. Color makes a big difference.
I guess he tried it with a few snippets first.
I would hope. Yeah.
Yeah. So color, just keep that thing in mind. The color thing is always going to make a difference. And if you want to take away one tip from this segment, it's try to reduce the amount of colors. Try to take pictures of scenes that are not like too wild in colors. That will help you simplify your photography.
You know, it's funny because I go both ways. I sometimes it's easier for me to go black and white, and then the focus is on shapes and geometry. Which is the
reduction to the max, right?
Yeah,
this is as reduced as it gets.
Yeah, 2 colors. Yeah, maybe some gray in between. So I guess you're right. That is in some respects a color choice, but color is of course, if you've got an eye for it, and maybe I don't have an eye for it. If you have an eye for it, a great color photograph just sings, just pops. And you've picked some beautiful ones. Here's a monochrome, a sepia tone of some horses running in the prairies. And it's perfect. It's got a color. It's called brown. And here's a black and
it
white.
works in that context, yeah.
So, Chris, we have an assignment that's ongoing, our monthly assignment, a picture of you. Yes, you, whatever that means. If you want to take a picture this week and for the next couple of weeks and upload it to our Flickr group, flickr.com is the website, and then our group is the Tech Guy group. Renee Silverman, our moderator, will welcome you. Make sure you tag it so we know that it's a submission for the U challenge over the last month. TGYOU would be the tag. Always start it with TG for Tech Guy and then YOU. But you also wanted to announce a kind of a weekly thing.
Well, it's an announcement by Renee Silverman, our moderator, because she suggested to run a weekly mini assignment based on the topic that we talked about in this week. So this time around will be color. And those mini assignments will be on the Flickr Tech Guy group. And there will be a new one every week. So if you feel like you're inspired by what we do here, if you want to try it out, if you want to share it with the others, that's a great way to kind of keep a bit of discussion going during the week and give everyone a chance to try out a few things around what we talked about, color in this case, and then share the photos with each other. So it's on the Flickr Tech Guy group.
Nice. Yeah. And all the information you need is there. And there's no charge. Flickr is free, but there's also no prize. So it kind of works out that way. No prizes, no charge, just no money exchanged whatsoever. Just beautiful photographs. Flickr.com is a photo sharing site. It's free to join. And ours is the big Tech Guy group. So what is it? 13,000 members, something like that. Chris Marquardt, you'll find him at sensei.photo. That's his website, SENSEI.photo. He has books too, a wonderful book on wide-angle photography, another on film photography, many other resources. You'll find it all at sensei.photo. Don't forget his Tips from the Top Floor podcast at tfttf.com. Thanks, Chris. Have a great week.
Thank you, Leo.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our group is 362-537 at N20. That's how you know. I wish they would give groups real names. It would be so much easier to just say, flickr.com/tech guy.
It's flickr.com/groups/tech guy.
Is it? Oh, it does work.
It is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it does have a name.
The URL I got had that number. So good. I will say that from now on.
All lowercase.
/group/tech guy. Yeah.
All
I
lowercase.
just entered it.
Yeah.
Good.
But if you enter tech guy in the group, you'll find it right away.
Yeah.
It's an important group.
It's big, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's been around since 2007. That qualifies it for something. Yep. All right, Mr. Marquardt, I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Certainly will. See you in a week from now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Marie on the line from I almost said Satan Valley, Santan Valley, Arizona. Hi, Maria.
Hi, I'm fine. Listen, I have a quick question for you. I purchased a new computer, and then I decided to give my sister the old computer, and
nice of you.
Reformatted. Well, she had a Vista machine, so
oh my, she needed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I formatted the hard drive on that computer, but then I had to log back in because I needed to put 2 programs on it that she needed. So whenever she logs in, it shows up under unusual login activities under both my Google account and my Microsoft.
So let me understand what you did, because, you're getting warnings. So you formatted it to give her a fresh start, but then she wanted 2 programs. So you basically set it up.
I had to, yes.
Yeah, and you set it up with your account, your Microsoft account?
Well, I just logged in, and apparently that just...
It should not have remembered that if you formatted the drive. You would have had to reinstall Windows.
Oh, no, I did that too.
So...
No, I did.
You formatted the drive, you reinstalled, you installed a fresh copy of Windows on there, and then went through the setup, which says, welcome, what country are you in, all that stuff. And then at some point it said, okay, now you're going to log in, and you logged in with your Microsoft account.
Correct.
Yes.
So now my problem is...
You don't want her to use your Microsoft account. That's the problem right there.
No. Well, obviously she wants to be able to have it as her computer, login and password under her name. Now, is that possible?
Sure.
Without reformatting it again? Really? Okay.
Yeah. You might have to do it, though, because you are the only user of that computer right now. So,
well, unfortunately, I'm in Arizona. And she lives in California, and I mailed her the computer, and she's computer illiterate.
Oh, you're going to have fun. So you could walk her through it. You'd have to give her your password. So basically what needs to happen at this point is you, as administrator of that computer, need to create a new account on that computer, which is going to be your sister's account. You let her set it up with her Microsoft account, et cetera, et cetera. The programs you installed, if you installed it for everyone, which I'm sure you did, that's the default, will be visible to her. Do those programs have serial numbers or logins themselves?
The one I did is to avoid her having to pay for 360 Microsoft.
Now you're out of luck.
Well, the problem is I have a purchased copy of Microsoft stuff from called I think it's Microsoft 7. So it's a purchased one, so I can keep reinstalling it when I need to. However,
no, you can't. Okay, no, it also has limitations on the number. No, you can't. It has limitations on the number of users. It's associated with your account. You can install. Yeah, if you look carefully, I don't know. It depends on what you bought, but it will be limited either to 1, 2, or 5 machines. So, but again, it will be under your account. Now you can. So you put Office on there, an old version of purchased version of Office on there.
Yeah. And I've actually downloaded that onto at least 5 or 6 different computers with no issues. As to limitations on how many you can do.
Yeah, no, they don't let you install it on an infinite number of computers. That's not how it works.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it seems like they would. You got the disk, why not? But the problem is you have to activate it each time. Unless it's really old. I don't remember it ever being that you...
It's pretty old. It's an old version called Microsoft 7 or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has limitations on the number of installs you can do. Does when you install it, does it log into your Microsoft account?
Not the Microsoft program. No. What she does is when she I had to give her my login and password so she could open the computer. But now, every time she does that, of course, then as I said,
because she's using it as you.
Yeah.
If
change that.
Yes. So what will happen is you need to somehow get into that computer. You could walk her through it, create a new account. She will associate with her Microsoft account, not yours.
How do you create a new account on there? I don't know.
So I'm going to walk you through walking her through it. This is a recipe for disaster.
You know what it is. I just felt sorry for her because of that Vista machine. It was pretty pathetic.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think it's a good thing to do. It's in the system preferences. There's a user or a control panel. There's an add user command. Which version of Windows did you install?
Oh, no, the one I sent her is Windows 10.
Good.
The new machine I have is an Acer Swift 5.
Okay, it doesn't matter the brand.
I also have another computer.
Yeah, that's not important. What matters is the version of Windows. So you're going to go into the control panels under Family and Other Users, and you can
Family
and Other Users, yeah. And in the control panel, she'll see two entries. One is Add a Family Member. I wouldn't do that. That's really for kids. I would do Other Users. That won't add them to your family, other users. So you just press the plus button and add someone to this computer. She can, at that point, do the rest. She'll need a Microsoft account, which she can create at that time. And she'll log in, and then she'll be using it as her. You won't see any more notifications of her login. But then there's going to be this issue of the license for Office. I don't. Let me look here. There's a. Let's see.
Well, I could actually tell you what the. Hang on, let me see.
There's a limitation in the number of times you can install that. You may not be at that limit. Each time you install it, you'll have to log into it. So I think it'll probably be all right.
It's called Microsoft Office 2007.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let's see. How many copies of Office can you install? I'm just going to look quickly at a website that will say. When you buy Office 2007, it's confusing. Yes, it is. It's confusing. It's confusing. Two computers. So you can have it on hers and you can have it on yours. What will happen is
I have it on 3 right now already.
Eventually it'll say
2 of mine and hers.
Yeah, it'll say if you want to keep using this, you need to authorize it. She hasn't used it yet. That's probably the problem. Or she's used it. Well, no, I bet she has used it. Okay, well.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, you can only install it twice. So pick.
Interesting.
Now, by the way, if she's not sophisticated, she's probably not using all the features of it. Office is also online for free. She can use Edge to go to the web version of Office and doesn't have to pay for it. And maybe go to office.com. That might be the best choice for her. Then she doesn't need to install anything. And given that she's not kind of a novice user, I think that's probably sufficient.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. It's complicated, but I think you can do it. Just you need to create a new user, give her her own login, and never do this again. No, you were very kind. You're a good sister. You were trying to do the right thing, and I think that was great. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, you know, the stuff with chips in it that's messing up your life. 8888. It's supposed to make it easier, isn't it? 88, most of the time it does, right? 8888 Ask Leo. I apologize. I gave out some incorrect information on our last call. Our caller had very kindly set up a computer for her sister because she was using such an old computer. She gave her, her hand-me-down computer, installed Windows 10 on it. Very nice. Unfortunately, installed it with her login, and I guess gave her the password. Actually, if she already has the password, I didn't really think about this. Her sister could go in and fix it and stop using Sister One's account. But Sister One also put Microsoft Office on there. She had a copy of Office 2007. Wow, is that old? Microsoft has not updated that in some time. And I told her there would be a limit on the number of installs. The chat room tells me, and I think this is probably true, Microsoft turned off the authentication. It's so old. Microsoft basically said, oh, just use it. Actually, I think what they said is, whatever you do, don't use it because it's not being patched, it's not secure, but they no longer check, apparently, to see if it's authenticated. So you were right. You can install it on as many computers as you want. So there. Sis can use it. She doesn't need to log into your account. She also mentioned that she was getting Google notifications. We didn't even get to that one. But I suspect it's because she's tied some Google things like calendars or Gmail to her Microsoft account. You can do that. And so when your sister logs into that Microsoft account, it's setting off a whole cascade of alarms. Best thing to do, always, and this is really the advice for everybody. If you're giving away a computer, wipe it. Great idea. Don't want to leave anything of yours on there. If you want, and you want to be really generous, install Windows, but don't complete the installation process. Let the giftee do that so that she has her own account and sets it up with her own account. If, though, you have installed stuff and logged in and so forth, create a new account, and you can do that in the user's control panel. Create a new account for the giftee that is also an administrator account. Don't make it limited unless you're willing to be the tech support person. Make an administrator account and let them choose the password. Now you've washed your hands of it. Your account will still be on there. That's probably useful if you have to do some tech support or whatever. But she won't be using that day to day. She'll be using her own account. And you should no longer get notifications. 8888 Ask Leo. So I wanted to correct that right away before we got back to the phone calls. Gary is on the line from Scottsdale, Arizona. Hi, Gary.
Good afternoon, Leo.
Good afternoon.
A long-time listener, third-time caller.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Say, on my desk, I have a Lenovo ThinkPad, which is a great laptop, and I have it connected to my external monitor. So I do have two displays to work with.
Yeah.
On my desk, I also have an iMac, which has its own keyboard. And
how big is your desk?
Well, the problem is the bigger the desk, the more junk you get.
Yeah, no, believe me, you don't have to tell me that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have an iMac, a Lenovo laptop, and a big display connected all together on that.
Right. And I need the two displays. And then, of course, the iMac has its own separate display, and it has its own keyboard and mouse. Yes. And I know there are third-party products out there that if I were to have even yet another keyboard and mouse, that would allow me to switch back and forth and control both systems at the same time.
That's right.
I'm wondering, though, is there a product that would allow me to continue to use my laptop keyboard and my external monitor, but I could also control the iMac with my laptop keyboard and trackpad?
Yeah, because the iMac is a little bit of a fly in the ointment because it has its own screen. Right. So the first product you mentioned we call KVM, Keyboard, Video, and Mouse Switchers, KVM switchers. It's a box that your keyboard, your mouse, and all your monitors go into, and then it can do it automatically, or you can do it with a switch. switch from one to the other. So one mouse, one keyboard, and in theory, one monitor work for all the devices. That's not what you want, though. You want a separate monitor for each computer. Is that right? Or at least for the iMac and the Lenovo, you need to have separate monitors, right?
Well, I do have the two monitors that I conclude with my PC combination, let's say, my Lenovo and my external monitor. But then I also have the iMac off to the side.
Here's what I would suggest. There's a program called Synergy. SYMLESS.com. Little tricky, but once it gets working, it's great. So basically, whichever computer you're sitting in front of, the keyboard and mouse you want to use, you make that your Synergy server. I actually do this with my iMac, so it's my Synergy server. In your case, you might want to do it with the Lenovo. Then you put clients on any other machines you want to control. And you set up Synergy in such a way that when you move, you want one keyboard, one mouse for all of it. When you move your pointer from one screen to the next screen, from your, let's say, Lenovo screen to your Mac screen, now the keyboard and mouse control the Mac. When you move your pointer back to the Lenovo, you're controlling the Lenovo. You could add multiple computers, additional computers that way. So one keyboard, one mouse, multiple monitors. And whichever monitor the mouse is on is the one you're controlling with the keyboard and mouse. Is that what you want to do?
Well, I know I can do that if I have a separate keyboard and mouse.
No, this is one mouse and one keyboard. You don't need a separate keyboard and mouse. That's the idea.
Okay. Right, but I want the single keyboard and mouse or trackpad to be my laptop, and I didn't know if Synergy would work with my laptop.
Of course it will. Yeah, SYMLESS Simless.com. It's not very expensive. The trick is setting up the network. They all have to be on the same network because it uses the network to share the keyboard and mouse. And there is, as a result, perhaps a little lag. But unlike a KVM, which has one monitor for all the computers, Synergy has each computer has its own monitor. And then wherever you see the mouse pointer, that's what the mouse and keyboard are working on. So you could put it on your Lenovo, use the keyboard and mouse on your laptop, and then when you move the pointer all the way, let's say to the left where the Mac is, the iMac is, now that keyboard and monitor on the laptop, keyboard and mouse rather, on the laptop, or keyboard and trackpad, are controlling the Mac.
Okay, good. That would be great. Then I can get rid of this extra iMac keyboard and mouse. And
that's right.
Butter off.
One keyboard, one mouse, or your laptop's keyboard and mouse. And then it all depends on where so you'll basically set up the Synergy server on the Lenovo and the Synergy client on the Mac. You'll have to open ports for the two of them. They have to be on the same port. Setting up the network is a little tricky. They got to be on the same Wi-Fi network. Once you get it working, it'll stay working. And then I use it. It's very simple, and it really is great. It's not expensive. It used to be, I think, a free open source program. Now it's $29. Big deal.
Great.
Synergy Pro, a little bit more expensive, a whole $39.
Oh, okay. It's worth it.
Well, great. Yeah, and it's nice because it doesn't care. Windows, Mac doesn't care.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now I can create more space for more clutter.
Yeah, that's right. You know what I ended up doing is I got tired of all the screens and all the clutter and all the stuff, and I just got one humongous screen. That's the other way to solve this. There are companies like HP that make a big screen with multiple HDMI inputs or multiple video inputs, and then the screen can switch from one computer to the other. But I think that's not so much what you want to do. You want to have all those independent screens. It's the mouse and keyboard you want to have.
Right.
Switching around.
Well, that does. I am looking at the ultra wide curved monitors, but still, it would not equate to two of my external monitors, which are 3040 by 2160, and I can't get twice that resolution on one big screen, so it still wouldn't work. I should mention that when Synergy was open source, somebody did fork it, and there continues to be an open source fork of it called Barrier. It's free. But whether it's better, I don't know. Maybe better. Sometimes when they do a fork like that, before it went closed source, it's Linux, Mac, Windows. So that's another one to look at. It's called Barrier,
But it's basically Synergy back from the open source days.
And you mentioned also Symless.com.
That's the company that owns Synergy. SYMLESS.com. That's where you'll get Synergy.
Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for the call. Yeah, it's you could tell it was open source software. It's a little wonky getting it started. That's the only my hesitation is I don't want to tell you something you're going to tear your hair out, and you might lose a few hairs on this one. But you can get it working. Follow the instructions, you'll get it working. Once it's working, it's pretty reliable. Rod Pyle, our space guy, coming up. He has some very interesting insights into perhaps the biggest announcement from NASA since JFK said we're going to the moon. This is a big one. Rod Pyle, space guy, coming up to talk about that in just a bit. But first, Seraphine on the line from Los Angeles. Hello, Seraphine.
Hi, we've spoken once or twice before, and you've given me great advice.
Good. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, in the early days, I used to bring you out to the vegetable garden with me and had no clue what you were talking about.
I remember.
If I learned one thing a day, that was wonderful.
I remember you well, Seraphine. You think I had forgotten, but no, I have not.
Okay, here's my dilemma. Since Thursday, all of a sudden, I get no Wi-Fi.
Oh, no.
And, okay, so I can tap into my next-door neighbor's Wi-Fi who gave me their password.
Aw.
But they're on Spectrum. I'm on a different company, and it's an independent. It's not an AT&T or Horizon. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've done all this troubleshooting of unplugging and plugging in and waiting 10 seconds and tracing this, that, and the other. Ultimately, the company said, well, you have to wait till Monday when our second-tier tech support people come back.
Oh gosh, what a terrible company!
I've been, sitting out in the patio using my neighbor's Wi-Fi to get work done, which is nice. But I need a suggestion on what to look for.
Well, I would look for an internet service company that has techs on duty 24/7. For one thing, are you going to switch? Do you want to switch, or you want to try to fix it?
Well, I want to fix it.
Yeah, let's fix it.
I just want to get back to work.
So, what's the name of the company that provides the service to start with?
It's called DSL Extreme.
I know them well. They were a sponsor for many years.
They were a big company many years.
Yes, they were. So DSL Extreme, they've gone through some ups and downs. I actually stopped doing ads for them because when they were at one of the downs, I said, I can't recommend you guys anymore. But they're nice people. They really are. They got bought. They got bought again. Them through.
Well, I've got my website, and I've got everything hooked up.
Yeah. You don't have to change. So DSL Extreme, by its name, tells you it comes through the phone line, not like Spectrum through the cable. Really, in the United States, those are the two choices for 90% of the population is phone or cable. That's it. So yours is coming through the phone line. It connects to a box.
Yes.
They call it a DSL modem.
I have that.
Yep. And then that box may or may not connect to a router. I don't know. Do you have another box connected to it? Or
I have a router.
Good.
Yeah. I'm old school.
So that basically is the chain of command. And then, of course, finally, it could be your computer. So the first thing, let's figure out, does any...
my phone also. It's not just my computer.
That was my first question. Any other devices? So both your phone and computer no longer get Wi-Fi. Do they see, do you see Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi signal?
Yes. And when I go to settings, I see my...
Good. So your router is still trying to do its job, but there's just no internet on it.
Right. And the company said they're pinged it, and it's doing properly to the modem or the router.
Oh, good. So maybe it's the connection between the router and the modem. So I don't know. The company should have told you, maybe they did, maybe you've done this, to switch both off, the router and the modem.
Did that.
You unplugged them both, waited 10 seconds, plugged them both in, and it didn't come back.
Right. That's why I'm waiting for Tier 2.
Yeah, because
Tier 1 could handle.
Yeah, they've done everything they could do remotely. That is, they pinged the router and they can see it, which means from their point of view, they're providing internet service to that cable modem.
Exactly. Do I need to buy a new modem?
It's possible either the modem or the router has died. Most likely the modem, not the router, because you're still seeing a Wi-Fi signal, right? It could be, believe it or not, the cable between the two of them. I'd take a look at that, jiggle it, maybe even if you have another one, swap it.
Okay.
Just to make sure. I mean, that's the simplest thing, right? It's a $2 part, but, you know, maybe somebody went a vacuum cleaner over it or something.
Or maybe a mouse chewed on it.
Or a mouse ate it. You know who loves those cables is rabbits. You don't have any rabbits, do you, Seraphine?
No.
Never let rabbits in the house. They will chew all your cables. They love the rubber.
Why do rodents, like mice?
They love the flavor. I guess. Ew. Well, the good news is they'll probably electrocute themselves eventually. The bad news is you'll lose your power. So, you know, it's a good news, bad news thing. Ants will also do that, lots of things. So I would look at that cable. Do you see lights on the DSL modem, the thing that DSL Extreme provided? Do you see lights blinking and all that?
They're all the proper colors.
They're all green.
Yes.
If you can find the manual for that thing, those lights tell you something. For instance, one of them should blink when you access the internet. That's saying, oh, there's data coming through me, stuff like that. So that's what I would do, but you may not be able to find that manual. Maybe it's online.
Believe this, but I have the manual taped on the bottom.
Aren't you great? That's brilliant. So I would check that, check the cable. Probably not the router, but, you know, it could be. Hold on, I got to take a break. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. If you wanted to log into the router, you could. Who makes the router?
Netgear.
Oh, good choice. Is it fairly new?
No, it's new is relative. I'd say it's maybe 4 years old.
Oh, that's old for a router.
Right.
So it could be the router.
Okay.
I don't remember if Netgear has. Some routers do. Once you log into them, a meter showing, the connection to the outside world. It might. You want to see if that router's functioning. It may, it sounds like it could be the router's gone. What's going to happen with DSL Extreme is I think they're going to have to send a tech out. That's what they hate doing that because it's expensive. But that's, I think, what's necessary at this point.
Okay.
You could, if you can figure out, you've got the router manual taped to the bottom of that too?
I don't know. I just have a paper manual in that general area.
Okay. That router.
Refrigerator manuals in the refrigerator.
That router, you can log into it. If it's a relatively, I can't remember when they started doing this, but try going to, is there a chicken? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have eggs or just chickens?
No, I get eggs too, and then I sell them to my neighbors.
Oh, I love that. Are you in the city or are you in the country?
I'm in Studio City, right in the middle of Valley.
And they let you have chickens?
As long as it's not a rooster.
Yeah, no one wants that. Yeah, in Petaluma, the town where I live, has such a history of chickens. It's in the laws of the city that you can't stop anybody from having chickens or roosters. Anyway, you're going to go and open your browser. This is actually a good test. And because you're going to see if you could talk to the router. And you do that by typing in this number. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
192.168.1.1.
Okay.
That's the IP address for your router, and I think all Netgear, I'm pretty sure all Netgears use that. So you should see at this point a login interface to your router. You'll have to check your manual to see what the default password is, and if you changed it, then I hope you wrote it down. But there will be a password to get into that. Once you're into that,
I know the password.
You know the password. It's not the same one as the Wi-Fi password. It's different. It's an admin password for the router.
Okay, admin password.
Yeah.
I have a book.
Yeah, it'll be in the book. It'll be the login is probably admin. I would guess that the password's admin as well. I can't remember what neck year. Every company uses something different, but it might be admin. But once you're in the what? Sorry.
I have a book of passwords.
Okay. You may or may not have changed it. Since you listen to me, one of the things I tell people to do is change that, so you might have changed it. So once you're in the router, though, now you can start to look around, and what you're really going to look for is if it's got a connection to the outside world. If the router does, well, then I don't know what's wrong. But you know.
No, it could have been a rat eating a wire. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Dog food was eaten.
Well, look at the well, then look at the wire. It could be that simple.
Okay, because that's what I was saying. The rats ate the bag and got into the.
It could be that simple. They gnawed on the wire. It's the wire between the DSL modem and your router. That's the one you want to look at. They say they could see the DSL modem. That's good. That means that's intact. So it's somewhere from the DSL modem onward. And resetting it didn't fix it. So I'm gonna say you want to log into the router and see if it could see the net.
Okay.
The good news is, it might be time to get a new router. They're not, you could replace that. I have to run, Seraphine. What a pleasure talking to you and your chickens. Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, Rocket Man. Rod Pyle is here. We love to talk to Rod because space is back, baby. Rod's the author of many great books, including a wonderful book about Apollo 11. Was it called First? Tell me the name again.
First on the Moon.
First
the
on the
Apollo
Moon.
11 50th anniversary experience.
I would know what it is, but it's on my coffee table. Not here, but also Space 2.0, many other wonderful books. He's the editor-in-chief of the National Space Society's magazine, Ad Astra, at space.nss.org. You sent me an email this week.
Yeah.
All excited because NASA made a big announcement. What did they tell us?
So this is very interesting. They made an announcement about their human lunar landing program. And
we have one? We have one?
It's called Artemis.
Yay.
It's been struggling along for a while. Under the Trump administration, we were going to do it by 2024. For a while, we were all thinking, now the administration's changed, maybe 2027, 28 is a little more realistic. But then Friday, very late in the day, weirdly late in the day for a press cycle, about 4 o'clock Pacific time, they had a press conference. Sorry, Eastern time. They had a press conference saying, "Hey, we're down selecting." So last year they had set out a contract with 3 companies to develop early plans for lunar lander. There was Blue Origin, who had assembled a team of Lockheed and other people. Grumman,
Jeff Bezos' company of Amazon.
A rocket company. And they got together a team that had worked on the Apollo lunar lander. Then there was another company called Dynetics that had some partners. And then SpaceX was kind of the dark horse. Well, yesterday they said, nope, SpaceX is our choice. And it kind of rocked the world of space observers because we weren't expecting that. It's a
$2.9 billion contract.
Yeah.
Which is cheap.
Well, and a lot less than the other 2 guys had bid, which is, I think, what happened. So, the understory here is that Congress didn't give NASA nearly what the administration and NASA had asked for. They gave them about a quarter of the money they needed, not in their budget overall, but for the human landing part of the moon mission. So, normally what NASA does in these things is pick 2 companies and have them compete like they did with SpaceX and Boeing for the delivering astronauts to space station contract. But they didn't have enough money. So they said, look, you guys didn't give us any choice. We went with the lowest bidder, which is SpaceX. Oh, and by the way, he's already building and flying these things. And oh, by the way, he's got a whole lot of skin in the game, whereas the other guys are just kind of waiting around for a contract.
Key being, of
it
course,
makes sense.
Elon Musk, who's the other billionaire in this picture. Now, we've seen him launch, and explode, but, pretty much succeed with launching the rocket for this. His plan is to go from the Earth to the moon directly, right? Just like Apollo 11 did.
Well, not quite. So that's what makes this interesting. The SpaceX Starship technology is not very compatible immediately with what NASA's been working on. So what he's going to do is station a Starship out at lunar orbit, either at the Gateway, which is the lunar space station that NASA's planning, or just somewhere out in lunar orbit. And 3 or 4 astronauts will climb inside the Orion capsule on top of the SLS, the big NASA Meggitt rocket that they've been building very slowly for a decade. And then that'll take off, carry the astronauts to Starship, where they transfer into Starship and use that as a landing vehicle. Now, at first, that sounds weird, and you think, oh, this is just government bureaucracy. And yes, there is a law that SLS has to be used by NASA for human activities. But it kind of makes sense because this allows Elon to shortcut all the difficult re-entry and landing on Earth stuff with his rocket. It's a lot easier to land and take off from the moon. There's no heating from the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. So he can just act as a shuttle service, and it's going to be a much shorter course, I think, from here to there than it would have been if they were going to use it to go all the way.
Is SLS Orion done? Is it ready to go?
Not quite.
Okay.
And Elon's flown Starship tests 5 times in the time it took Boeing to do 2 tests of the engines for SLS on the launch pad. But these things move slowly, and it's rated for people.
He'll be using the Crew Dragon, the one we've already seen in use with visiting the space station. Is that what's going to be the lunar?
No, that's completely bypassed. No, he never intended that to go to the moon or Mars.
Oh, okay.
It's always been Starship, which is the big, rocket ship XM kind of design from the 1950s, silver 50 caliber bullet rocket. And he still has to test the first stage for that, and he still has to get successful landings. But again, like I said, it's a lot easier to land on the moon. Also, a part of his deal, part and parcel, and again, it's a great deal for NASA and us, the taxpayer, because he's been paying for all this development himself up till now.
Out of his own pocket?
Out of his own pocket and those of investors. And he's developing an orbiting refueling system. So you'll be able to launch into Earth orbit with Starship with nobody on it, refuel robotically, fly out to the moon, and then pick up people and land, and they do their thing and carry tons of cargo with them. It is interesting, though, because Orion can only carry 3 or 4 people out to the lunar rendezvous, whereas Starship could carry probably 25.
What? 25? Oh, it could really
be huge.
So it could really be like colonists. It could bring a colony to the moon.
Yeah, and you could almost use it for a lunar space station instead of building the gateway. But so it's all kind of confused right now. But it was announced very late. The press conference was very hastily arranged, as far as we can tell. And at the same time, that morning on Friday, a few hours before the press conference, Bezos broke the news.
He must
I don't know
be
how
mad.
he got it.
He must be mad.
Through the Washington Post. Now, it was a very fair article. But I kind of wonder if maybe that was part of the pressure.
He lost the contract.
The words out.
So, Musk has said that he's going to in 2023 send a Starship to the moon, not to land, but just to fly by the moon. Is that still on?
So far, because that was bought by that Japanese billionaire whose name I always forget, who wants to take Ava, his friend, out for a lunar orbital flight.
Oh, you mean Yusaku Maezawa? Sure.
Yes.
Him.
Very well done. Thank you. As far as I know, that's still on. I mean, Musk is planning to build these things at scale. He's already got the next one, the next Starship queued up and ready to go out in Boca Chica, Texas. And the last one was serial number 11. This is 15. So he decided late in the game, as usual, to skip 3 or 4 iterations and just go with this newer one. So that may launch next week.
It's so funny because last hour we were talking about how a Tesla had a fiery crash in Houston because people relied on the so-called self-driving features of that car. Now, better news for Elon Musk. NASA's going to use his vehicle to land on the moon. Is there a time frame for this? Do we know when?
No, there's a lot of work to be done. This just got announced. They got to hammer out the terms of the final arrangements, but I would hope by 2020, late 2025, early 2026, but it might be a little later.
And you think it'll just be 3 astronauts because that's all the Orion can carry?
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
But ultimately, if Lunar Gateway gets built or if they station, I mean, if I was NASA, which
build
they don't ask me about these things, I would just station a couple of starships in lunar orbit. And you can live on those.
The hard thing is this gravity well we live at the bottom of, getting into orbit. After that, things are relatively easier. So NASA's going to handle the gravity well part, and Elon will handle the part going to the moon. And wasn't Starship plan to go to Mars as well?
It still is, yeah. But the moon's gotten very attractive because other people are willing to put money into it. So that makes a lot of sense for SpaceX.
Yeah.
We are kind of hoping that Congress, there may be some pushback from Congress. This hasn't cleared that hurdle completely, but we're hoping that there will be some more money coming along, and maybe either Blue Origin or one of the other companies that are building robotic lunar landers like Astrobotic or Mazda and a couple of other companies have been engaged in this. We'll get a secondary contract so it's not just down to one person, because competition is good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We like competition. Do we have a couple more minutes?
We have 10 seconds. Is that enough?
I just want to let you know Ingenuity is scheduled to fly tomorrow morning.
The helicopter on Mars. This is, like I said, an exciting time for space. And
yes,
thank goodness we got you. Rod Pyle, Space Guy. Thanks for joining us. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You're the space guy.
I like being the spacey guy.
Space guy. Wow. This is exciting, I think.
12:30 Pacific time tomorrow morning. Ingenuity pops up for 20 feet, hovers for 10 feet, hovers for 10 to 30 seconds, somewhere in there, 20 seconds probably, and then lands.
Will there be anything to watch?
A couple of hours later, we're 15 minutes away from Mars by radio time now, but it's got a relay from Ingenuity to Perseverance, and then Perseverance sends it up to an orbiter, and then the orbiter sends it back to Earth. So it'll be about 3 hours by the time JPL is ready to show it. But about 3:30 in the morning Pacific, they plan to start their news stream, and we will see the video of both from the helicopter and of the rover watching it, which is cool.
Wow, that's very exciting.
Oh, it's
That's very exciting. So
it's a good times.
Basically, are you happy about the NASA deal with SpaceX?
Very. I mean, personally, and this is just me, but I like you said at the beginning, I think this is one of the boldest things they've done since Apollo 8, because it's really out there. I mean, this is not the way NASA usually operates. They're very safe. They're very cautious.
Did Biden appoint a new administrator? Is there a new administrator?
Yeah, Bill Nelson. The senator who flew on the space shuttle.
Oh, yeah. So you think it's Nelson's work or what?
Well, Nelson's not in yet. This is still the interim administrator, a guy named Steve Jerzik. And, it's really hard to say whether this was time to be there before Nelson got in for political reasons. Not that he wouldn't have liked it, but maybe to make his entree easier. I just don't know. This is all guesswork. Yeah. But I think it was kind of innovation by desperation. Look, we don't have much money. This guy's been building these things. We don't have a lot of choices here.
Well, and honestly, it might be the right choice regardless of price.
I think so.
He's doing some amazing stuff.
Well, and that's the thing. He's the only guy in this whole industry. I mean, Bezos kind of headed that direction, but he's been moving very slowly, and Musk says, get out of my way. I'm building rockets, and I'm going to build a lot of them, and I'll fly them until they're safe, and exactly what he did with the Falcon 9 and the Crew Dragon, He blew them up
and there's
until he got it right.
no reason to think that it's any less safe a choice than Dynex would have been or Blue Origin. I mean...
No, there's not. I mean, Blue Origin's approach is much more traditional. They're just building a spider-legged lander, kind of like the lunar module. But
what's a Starship going to look like landing?
It's going to land on his tail like all those 1950s
like all the ones we
science
saw?
fiction movies we saw.
Holy camole!
Yeah. Now they'll probably make bigger legs for it because the lunar surface is not stable till you get a landing pad there. But it's going to land on his tail. They open a door on the side. There's a ladder or an elevating platform of some kind that you'll have to take, just like those sci-fi movies in the 50s, climb down the side, lower down your equipment, do your thing, and then fly back. It's incredible.
I think this only works because Elon thinks everything's a simulation, and why the hell not make it look like Plan 9 from outer space? Go right ahead. It's all made up anyway. That's his attitude, which is, he might not be wrong.
That or he's just not of this earth.
He's
I think he and Mozart might have both actually been from another star system.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's incredibly admirable. And again, he just does it. He doesn't wait around for contracts. He just says, okay, I'm doing it.
He's got the money.
You want to come with me? That's great.
He can afford it.
Yeah.
So does Jeff Bezos. But that's it. I think Elon's putting more of his focus and energy on this than Bezos is. Yeah.
Well, with him, it is a almost, I would say, fanatical commitment, which I laud. With Bezos, I think it's a big overarching goal. But maybe a little bit of both. But we'll see. He just, one of the reasons he left Amazon was to concentrate on his space business. So maybe it'll pick up speed. Yeah.
Thank you, Rod. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, I'll tell you the secret. I'm going to Mars. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 88. Oh, I wish that were true. 8888. Ask Leo. Last segment of the day. How did that happen? Duke on the line from Redondo Beach, California. Hello, Duke.
Hi. Thank you. I love your program. I listen to you all the time. I build and repair computers, and I tell all my friends about your program.
Nice. Well, it's good to hear from you. Welcome.
My problem is I got a Windows 10 computer. I keep it all up to date. I got 24 gigs of RAM. All of a sudden, and I run all kinds of programs, for antivirus and repairs and so on. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, doesn't matter whether it's warm or cold, the computer restarts. In the past, I've always found this to be a heating problem. Either one of the fans isn't running, or the CPU is getting hot, or
No, you're absolutely right. I can tell there's an engineer in there, because that's the first thing you suspect when you get this sudden reboot. But you said it happens when it's hot or cold. So maybe it isn't a heat issue. How quickly after you boot up will this happen?
Oh, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
So remember that a processor heats up very quickly. So if there is a cooling problem, so there's a couple of things it could be. It could be that, absolutely. For instance, not at all uncommon for the thermal paste on the processor, attaching it to the cooling system, the passive fan, radiators or liquid cooling or whatever it's attached to. That thing is very important. That conduction on that's very important. It can dry out and stop conducting. The processor overheats. The computer says, I'm not going any farther. I don't want to fry this thing. You get exactly what you just described.
Right.
Maybe more like, and that could happen in 15 minutes. So it could happen. It could happen in 30 seconds. The processor is going to heat up very quickly. If it's not getting cooled, it will die right away. Other possibility, and you can check this. There are programs that you could put on your computer that will tell you. Almost all modern computers have measure. They're not thermometers, but thermocouples everywhere, and you can get the temperature of your processor and your so forth. So you can see that going up very rapidly. Maybe even see if it gets to 100 degrees Celsius. You can see that it's it is overheating. But most likely, the most common failure on a computer, I think, especially these days, is the power supply. And
power supply, all right.
Yeah, often that causes exactly the same issue. Very difficult to diagnose. You can't, just put a voltmeter on it, but it, fortunately, fairly inexpensive. Did you build this yourself, or was it all already built?
I built it myself.
Okay, and it's always had that RAM, right? That RAM is not new.
No, I put more RAM in, but this started before the RAM.
Before you put more RAM in. Okay.
Yeah.
So that can also be a problem. You can do a RAM test as well on that thing. You might do a power on. When you do the power on self test, you might look at the logs and see what's going on. I think it's likely the power supply. That's an easy. You built it. Yeah. Although most cases come with power supplies built in, but it's an easy thing to. Don't disassemble the case. You'll shock yourself. But you can take the case out. Take the power supply out of the case and put a new power supply in fairly easily and fairly inexpensively.
Yeah, that's the cheapest. I thought about that, but I figured I'd talk to you guys first.
Well, it's hard. Again, I can't tell. What a lot of hobbyists will do is they'll reapply the thermal paste on the CPU. They'll check the fans, make sure the fans are working properly. I think it probably is a good idea to look at the temperatures. There are a lot of different CPU monitor programs available for Windows 10.
Right. One thing I did notice, and that's why I'm sure you're right, is when I put my hand on all the fans, all of them seem to be okay, except the exhaust for the power supply doesn't seem very much at all. So that's probably.
Yeah. That could well be. I'm going to put a link to an article with CPU monitor software, but it also has a link to something that will monitor your voltage as well. It could easily be something like that. And so the one I use is HW Monitor from CPUID.com. That's free. Probably that's the one to get, and that will tell you about voltage as well as all the temperatures available to
Okay,
it.
can you tell me that name again?
Yeah, the website is great. CPUID. ID.com.
ID.
Yep. And .com. They sell or offer 3 different programs. The one I'm thinking of is the HW monitor.
So it's CPO.
No, CPU, like your microprocessor.
CPU.
ID.com.
And what's the name of the program I want?
HW monitor.
HW monitor.
You can't miss it. They only make 3. They're all on the front page. There's only one that would make any sense. So CPU ID makes good stuff. They've been doing this for a long time.
Okay, I want to appreciate it very much, and I pass you on to everybody I know, and they all love you.
Thank you, Duke. I appreciate it. Have a great day, sir. Take care. David's on the line from Redondo Beach. Hello, David. Hello, David. Did I press all the buttons? I did.
Leo.
There you are. You were on mute.
Mute, finally.
Unmute.
How are you, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Great.
Good.
So,
Good.
You know, my little laptop elf project, I collect laptops from folks and refurbish them and give them away. I was given a MacBook, and the lady said that she would like me to help her get the data off of it.
Ah.
And she's going to she has a Windows computer she wants to use. And so what I found out, it's an old white MacBook, 2011, Core 2 Duo, 2 gig RAM, so it's pretty slow. And the hard drive is failing.
Is this you on KTLA? Did they do a story? Did Rich DeMuro do a story on Laptop Elf?
That's me, and you and I have spoken once before.
I know, I've talked to you before, but this was before you did they did the story on you. That's awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun, and it's great to help these folks out. You know,
so what year is the MacBook? Do you know?
Yeah, it's a 2011 MacBook. It's one of the white plastic ones.
Yeah.
It was running El Capitan, but it was really slow, and you could see the little carousel spinning.
The reason I'm asking is, on some MacBooks, I think probably this one, it's pretty easy to take the hard drive out. And that's really all you need to do.
I pulled the hard drive.
You pulled it? Awesome.
The hard drive, yeah. She has a lot of photos that are tied in with the iPhoto program.
But they're there. They're just hidden away. So what iPhoto does is and this is a Mac thing. It looks like a single file, but it's really a container. It's a folder. It just doesn't look like a folder. If you were on the Mac, you could right-click it and say Open Contents, Open Package Contents. And inside there would be a folder called Original Photos or Photos that has the originals of everything in our iPhoto. Since you're going to browse this probably with a Windows machine, it should just appear like a folder and within the folder. So look for the iPhoto data file and see if you can open that up.
Okay.
Because there's a folder with the original photos in it. You can copy that.
Okay. Is there a program you could recommend that I can use to simplify porting all of the data from a MacBook onto an external hard drive for migration to a Windows?
Well, if you were running a Mac doing it, yeah, but you're not, are you? You're looking at it on a PC?
Well, I'm talking about for the future, the next Mac that comes in that needs some help.
Not really. I mean, you know what? I'm running out of time. Hang on. I'll talk to you off the air, Mr. Elf. For instance, if she comes to you with her laptop, you say, before we do anything, let's get your data off, right? That's what you want to do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that Mac OS is a Unix-style operating system. So that means there's a home directory. They actually call it users, and inside that is every login. It's actually just like Windows now. And so her login would be in the users/her name folder. That would have all of her files in it in a fairly reasonable form that you could just copy. Just like Windows, there's a documents folder, there's a music folder, there's a pictures folder, and you could just copy that. Just her user folder over would give you most of her data, almost all of it. You will still be able to see that structure if you can browse that hard drive on your Windows machine. It might be a little tricky because Windows does not understand Apple's file system. So,
right, that's what I was wondering. So, but you can still at least browse it.
Maybe not. I don't think so. You'll need to get some software on the Windows machine. Paragon, I think it was. It used to make the program for Windows. Yeah. Oh, no, Paragon's for the Mac to make you so you can see Windows software. We use Fuse. Oh, it is Paragon. Sorry. Paragon-software.com. They have a program that will let you, you put it on Windows and it'll let you see everything on the Mac drive. Basically, it's just different file system, you know. It's like looking at NTFS on a Mac, looking at HFS on a. Hers will be HFS Plus, given its El Capitan. Not APFS. That's a newer one. HFS Plus. And so once you can browse it, it'll be very apparent where her stuff is.
Okay, Paragon. That's what I need to look at.
Paragon-software.com.
Fantastic. Yep. Thank you, Leo.
You're welcome.
You're doing good work, man.
Hey, you too, David. Thank you for doing the elf work. That's great.
Yeah, I'm having fun doing it.
That's
too.
really a nice thing to do for people. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you, Leo. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too, Leo. Take care.
Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.